Hello, creative beauty. And before your mind wants to hijack that whole creative beauty thing, stick with me till the end, and I'm going to actually explain to you what that means and why you are most likely a part of it. If you're a spirit-centered woman, either heading in toward or in the second half of your life, then listen closely, because Divine Mother has something she wants you to hear, and it is this: wholeness is real, and it's a journey. And if you're listening to this call right now, then you're being actually given a golden thread invitation to this journey. And your higher wisdom, the creative spark, the creative life force that's in your heart, and the great Mother, source of all life herself, is requesting your presence on this journey. And here are 3 simple things that you can do as soon as this video ends to actually align yourself more and access more of your creative life force. And this is an energy. This creative life force is like, it's like having a good friend that walks with you in your life. The universe will always meet us halfway. So we can call your creative life force source, the universe, God, the all that is, divine love. It doesn't really matter. It's actually all the same energy. And I think that if you're a spirit-centered woman, then you know that that energy exists. And one of the things we're being called to is to meet the universe halfway. The universe will meet us halfway, more than halfway actually, but to do it with intention, with as much clarity as we can garner, with leaving behind the things that no longer serve us. That's the journey. And that's kind of a thing, right? So I am here to support you in that journey as a guide, and one who walks that journey with the most joy that I've ever had because of what it's gifted me. And I want you to have those same gifts too. So I want to give you 3 things that you can do right now. The first is called a quantum chi breath. And it's a breath that actually connects you into the quantum field. I've been teaching on this for a number of years now, and it has 3 parts to it. The first part is where you drop into your body. You drop into your body because a tremendous amount of wisdom and intelligence and your personal medicine lives in your body, opposed to only in your mind, right? When we drop into our body, we give our mind a rest. And she spins constantly, doesn't she? I mean, doesn't she just drive you crazy with all of her constant spinning and thinking? So when we drop into our body, it's like a mini rest. It's a mini retreat. And there's 2 things that you can do to give yourself a sensation of being in your body, or an awareness of being in your body. One is to do a Kegel, or a squeeze and release, like the flow of urine. And that will drop you literally into the creative energy center. It's our womb space, right? It's where we actually create new life, whether it's another human being or any kind of creative pursuit. The other thing you can do is wiggle your toes, and that will give you a feeling of that's the lowest part of our body compared to our head anyway, and it just kind of counterbalances the energy and brings it back into a more centered place. So that's the first part. The second part is taking a breath in through your nose and releasing it out through your mouth. And I know different yogic traditions have different ways of breathing, but this is in particular to activating 2 channels in our body, according to Chinese medicine, the front and the back channels, that create what is called a microcosmic orbit, giving our system access to all of our channels. So when we breathe in through the nose and out through our mouth, we can actually access our entire system. It's a big deal, right? So the third part is when you exhale, you actually intentionally relax or soften your entire body. Now, this is the part that's the hardest, because most of us think that we're actually not tense, but we're so habitually tense that we don't realize that we're as tense as we are. So just play with all 3 parts. You know, maybe one day you just play with dropping in your body. Maybe another day you practice the in through your nose, out through your mouth, and another day you practice relaxing, softening, opening, taking the edge off the tenseness, putting some ease into your system. And then you can take the next few days to practice doing all 3 at the same time. It is kind of like walking, chewing gum, and tapping your head. You know, remember those days when we used to all practice doing that, or maybe not all of us, but I did. Anyway, so 3 parts, right? And I do have a mini class on this. If you're interested in that, just pop a comment in the box, and I'll get it over to you. So that's the first thing that you can do right away once you get off this video. The second thing is one of 2 things, or both actually. And this is, if you place your hands like this, it looks like a Y. This is a symbol, and symbols and images as well as language are very important in getting past the gates of our mind and accessing the wisdom inside of our system, right? So this is a Y, and this is saying yes to the universe. This is saying yes to your heart. This is saying yes to source, that you're open to meeting the greater good halfway. And so just making this and saying a prayer, or just simply saying yes, either silently to yourself or out loud — it's always more powerful to say things out loud — is part of the invitation. It will be part of what actually helps you align more with your creative life force and your heart and your soul. Now, the other part of that is you can actually just take a piece of scratch paper, which I just have on my desk, and you can make a Y on it, right? Just make a Y like can you see that? Not very well, can you? Oh, there it is. Make a Y. I just did it with my pen, just a regular old desk pen. And I happen to have a highlighter too. So I have a yellow highlighter. I'm just going to grab that, and I'm just going to give it a little color because I can, and because I like color. And it happens. This wasn't on purpose, actually. I grabbed the orange highlighter, and orange happens to be the color of our creative center. That is an energy center, and orange, it happens to vibrate at the color of orange. Now, the other thing you can do is just place your hand under your belly button, over your womb space. It's called the Dan Tian in Chinese traditions. It's how Qigong masters are able to fly people across the room without even touching them. They've cultivated their qi so much, and they cultivate it out of that center. It's a very powerful center, and I would like to when we're walking on this journey together, I would like to help you cultivate that center in a more powerful way. It's called energy management, walking yourself into energy mastery, if we want to take it that far down the road. So those are 2 things, right? And the third thing is I am inviting you to a complimentary creative journey that is a 12-month journey. And each month has a theme, and you'll get a complimentary video that will walk you through the theme. They're actually quite fun, quite colorful. And then in between the videos each month will be email support, email prompts, that kind of thing, sometimes for journaling. You can do only the themes that speak to you, or you can do all of them. Of course, I recommend that you do all of them, because the more we do this kind of thing, the more we actually activate our heart, activate our intelligence, connect with the divine life force, and cultivate a very important relationship with life herself. So there's a link next to this video that will take you to a page that explains a little bit more. It will give what each month's theme is, and then at the bottom of all that information is a link for you to say yes, so you can actually get the information. You have to give me your email address in that so that I can actually email them all the information to you. You can opt out anytime, but of course, I hope that you walk this journey together. There will be lots of women who are walking this journey across the globe together, and I hope you're one of them. So let me tell you about creative beauty. First of all, every single one of us is an extension of the creative life force herself. It is the creative life force that has created nature and everything in it. And we cannot be separate from that. We are a microcosm of that. So what we're talking about is cultivating that side of you, that part of you. Whether you think you're a creative person or not is not the point. The point is that you have a creative life force that beats your heart, pumps your blood, and is asking to express more through you. And I'm going to show you how to do that. The beauty part, I'm going to tell you a quick story. Beauty has been hijacked in our culture to mean a certain thing, and that isn't what beauty is when we're talking about it from a perspective of divinity or truth, or well, that's enough to say it that way. I have a very intimate relationship with this particular subject, because when I was in my 20s, I broke out in horrible cystic acne. And while, not the greatest skin runs in my family, nobody had it this bad. I don't even know why this happened. Well, I have an idea now because it was one of my biggest lessons there. You know how we all have like certain periods in our life where there's a huge amount of growth opportunity and learnings if we're willing to look at them. Anyway, that's a story for another time. My point is that I suffered for about 5 years. It was really, really hard. But it also brought me closer to my center. So I was meditating one day, and what I heard in that meditation, I mean, this is 20 years ago, right? Over 20 years ago. What I heard is you must cultivate your own beauty from the inside out. And I'd never heard that before. I didn't, no one ever exampled that for me. I didn't even know what it meant. So I thought, okay, well then, I always ask questions of my heart. I said, teach me how to do that. And I kid you not, I had to go to, we have this store in San Diego called Sprouts. It actually wasn't called Sprouts at the time. It was called Henry's, but it's since been bought by Sprouts and is called Sprouts. So I was in Sprouts and I was just sort of hanging out with this idea, like, even as I felt so ugly when I looked in the mirror, I was willing to be taught how to cultivate what would be my own beauty. And I was reaching in the tea. I was reaching for a box of tea. I was in the tea aisle. I was reaching for this box of tea. And this man comes. He was a little older. He comes up behind me and he said, "Excuse me, can I just tell you how beautiful you are?" And I was like, well, thank you. I was stunned. And I looked around for him after I sort of got through being shocked. I looked around and he was completely gone. I have no idea where he came from. He could have dropped in from another dimension for all I know. All I remember is, and I still remember to this day, is that was the universe's voicing. That was the universe saying, you will do this. And now today, this has been a long journey for me, but today, even though I still have a little scarring, I am very aware, and this is, I can't remember who says this. I think it might be Leonard Cohen, but there's also a whole Japanese thing with ceramics around it, that our wounds and our scars are where the light gets in. So I have claimed that for myself. And what I know now is that beauty is felt from the inside. And once it's felt from the inside, it can be seen from the outside. It is not something that's cultivated from the outside in with manicures and makeup and certain standards of beauty that are created from the outside of us. So you are beautiful just the way you are, even though your mind would have you believe maybe otherwise, and you're creative. So I am offering an invitation from Divine Mother through my heart to yours, and I hope you accept it, creative beauty, and I will see you on the journey.